Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, having a great May. If I look weird, it's because my face is numb. I had some feelings going on, and my face on this side is still like not all of it, but like right in here is like still numb. But I wanted to record before it got like too dark because I didn't realize because on this side he didn't numb it, but he said on this side the cavity was like deeper. So we had to know this side. So it is what it is. Hope everyone's having a good May. Like I said, my May has been okay. Besides, having half my face numb. Um, yeah, and I want to give an update on my book. I want to add one last poem. My very first poem I ever wrote. But I don't have it, and I did not. I thought I typed it up, but it's in my writing folder, which is in my storage unit. I have a typed up version of it, but for some reason, it's not on my computer. Maybe I've had like at least one computer die on me back in the day and had a bunch of desktops, So maybe it got lost somewhere in there. I just realized I don't have no jewelry on. I forgot. I cleaned my bathroom, so I took all the jewelry off the counter. So you're getting just a plain half faced me. Now I feel like I'm exaggerating it, but I'm trying to talk normally. Yeah. But I feel like I look a lot better than when I first left the dentist's office. So that's a plus. But yeah, so that's the update on my book. I feel like I'm pretty much done. There is one poem I'm contemplating on, but I also really want to I really have to edit some of it. Some of the poems, like the one poem I'm about, is about poetry, like my love for poetry. So I want to include it, but I think I want to cut it up, edit it, slice it up. So that's the update for my poetry book, and I'm gonna. So I'm trying to decide if I want to edit it first and then send it to my friends for feedback, or send the friends for feedback and then go in and slice it up. I'm making more progress than I was before, so I'm proud of myself. I also applied for new jobs today, so did a couple productive things. And then yesterday I cleaned both of my bathrooms. I can't wait until I just have one bathroom to clean. That'll be great. But that's why I'm applying for the new jobs. But yes, I've been at least pretty productive this week, especially since I'm about to go on my period, and I felt like doing nothing pretty much, but I've been pretty good. So today, I'm going to talk about Michael Jackson's best albums slash critically acclaimed albums. So there are three. Um, and I've always wanted to review and listen to full or review a full Michael Jackson album or discography, but he has, I think, when I looked before, I want to say it was 42 albums. So I feel like I said the same thing last year with the Supremes. It's not gonna be. I can't. I mean, I guess I could try it, but I feel like it would take maybe my whole lifetime to really go through all of his CDs. So, and I don't know if I'll do it the Black Music Month is next month as well. But I also want to do something similar with Prince. At first, I want to do Prince's first album, most critically acclaimed, and maybe his last album, Alive. Switch it up because he has Prince has when I looked on Apple Music and I was googling top 10 Prince's best albums and all that. There were 5 for Apple Music that were his essential albums. I'm not saying I can't listen to 5 albums, but I forgot. I just remembered I had that idea to do his first album was critically acclaimed. His last one was Alive. I felt like doing the same thing for Michael Jackson, but then I decided to do his most critically acclaimed because I had never actually listened to these 3 albums in full before. And I want to say Off the Wall. So I'm doing Off the Wall. I'm reviewing Off the Wall, Bad, and Thriller. I think, I don't know if I put this in my notes. I know I said in Off the Wall, I thought I would know more songs, but I want to say maybe Thriller was the one I know the most songs to. Like when I finally listened to that one. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with Off the Wall. It was released August 10th, 1979. The genre is disco, funk, pop, and R&B. And the vibes I got from it was groovy, funky, fun. So I'm going to talk about my favorite songs and my least favorite songs and give my overall opinion. I just want to say, I've said this in my other video talking about Michael Jackson's life. He still is my favorite artist of all time. Number one. But of course I have other favorite artists, but like overall stage presence, voice, dancing, personality, like all these things, like he was bigger than life, you know what I mean? Larger than life, you know, he was a huge public figure. So he's all that, you know, in a bag of chips to me. So yeah, so I'm gonna talk about my favorite songs from the album. So I think the first song was Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Funky, super bop, Jimmy Jam. I love that song. It makes me want to get up and dance, bust a motherfucking move. Y'all remember that video of it was like two people and the guy was like, it just make you want to get up and bust a motherfucking move. They were like in a basement or something. I don't know what they were doing, but I always remember that meme. Yeah, it's just something about that song. Hello. It's absolute classic, perfect, no flaws, no changes needed. I love it. Makes me feel nostalgic, even though I was not born when that came out. I wasn't born when any of these albums came out. It's so funny. And it reminds me of Rush Hour and Chris Tucker, who is the Superior Chris, was dancing to it. And I don't know if it was the second one or the first one. I saw, you know, interesting enough, I saw Rush Hour 2 first and then the other two. Why? I feel like Rush Hour 2 might be the most popular one. That's just the order I saw it in. I'm pretty sure. And then Chris Tucker was in the video for You Rock My World, which I love that song too. So my other favorite song was Get on the Floor. Another very danceable bop. Especially love it towards the end, middle. It really picks up. And I wish it could have went into like a disco when this came out. Like when the album came out, I bet it would have been fun. You know what I mean? And then She's Out of My Life. It's a very sad, emotional breakup song, but I feel like it was very touching. I think Michael put a lot of emotion to this song, and I was like, damn, Shawty, come back, LOL. Even though I was like, not a slow song, but I actually enjoyed it. My least favorite songs is Rock With You, and I know this is one of his classic songs, but it's just meh for me. I can't remember if this video or I didn't look up some of these music videos, I will say. Either this one or Don't Stop Till You Get Enough was like a bunch of, no, I think Rock With You was like a bunch of stuff in the background and he was dancing, which I feel like the video was cool. But the song, it's like a bit groovy, but not the grooviest for me. I mean, I wouldn't turn it off at the party, but I mean, I might just do a two-step, a little lean back, you know. I'm not gonna be jamming. But that was my only least favorite song. My overall opinion is I really enjoyed this album. I will say it starts upbeat, then it kind of mellows towards the middle, and it picks up a bit on the last song. And I feel like the songs were like unique enough not to blend together with each other, which I don't like, as you know from the Chloe review. So that made the slower songs not boring. I do think of them as meh. Like I don't think of them as meh. So I either as meh either. I did enjoy them all together. Although I wish they were like more upbeat songs. Even though I still enjoyed the slow songs. I have never listened to the album before, but I thought I would know more songs just from like listening to Michael, you know, at parties in your life and growing up and listening to it on the radio. I thought I would know more. I did not know more, at least for this album. And however, I only really knew the first three, and I'm guessing on Bad and Thriller I will know more. This is before I actually listened to them. But it could be wrong again, LOL. Which I did say I think I knew more on Thriller than I did. I think Thriller was the one I knew the most on. That's what I'm saying. Because I thought I would know more songs on here, and I didn't. So that was just a prediction. But I'm telling you. But I would give this album a 7 out of 10. I think if I was at the disco themed party, this album would be almost perfect. And I would have wanted more upbeat songs, but I would still enjoy myself if I was at a disco party as a playing. So now we're gonna go to Thriller. I just did them in like the order that they were released. So at first I was gonna do Thriller last because I thought it was gonna be my favorite, which you will see whether it's my favorite or not. But I decided to go in year order. And actually on Apple Music, if you have Apple Music, that's where I listen to all these, by the way. They actually have them in like the year order, like under essential albums. So they have them from the latest year, which is Bad, and then Thriller, and then Off the Wall as like his 3 essential albums. So that actually made it really easy, you know. Speaking of Apple Music, I need to cancel it in June, the beginning of June, which is like annoying because then it's a music month. So yeah, when I need it, I can't use it the whole month. But it was released on November 29th, 1982. It's pop, post-disco, rock, funk, and R&B. And my vibes I got from it was a very versatile, funky, groovy again. So my favorite songs were Wanna Be Starting Something, which I'm like, I think that was the first song again. And it was a great intro to the album. Oh yeah, of course, it was the first one. It captures your dance muscles like immediately. You know, these first songs on these last 2 albums, you know, they get you up. I also love that the chant at the end and the clapping makes me like turn up. I really love the song, and I really get into the song then. Absolute jam, bop and bop. You know, the mama say, mama say, mama kusa. Everybody loves that part. Yeah, like in Martin, when they were doing the chant and they started dancing, which I actually have not seen that full episode. So I would like to watch that. I want to watch Martin more in general anyway. And then of course the title track, Thriller. It was so different. Like I love that this song was so different from anything Michael made before. And of course the video was iconic. And I said in my biography about him that it was like the video for I think Thriller, Beat It, and Bad were like cultural, like really groundbreaking barriers, especially racially. And it showed that the music video could be like a great asset to the music. So yeah, and a promotional tool. Of course, also it's a very poppy pop, and it was so captivating to have this creepy theme, but still have like a danceable track. They also have like, I feel like they have so many like filters and like effects on TikTok, but they have one called Thriller where you're like a zombie and you're doing the dance, and that's like really iconic. Like after all these years, like they I was looking at Apple Music, they have a 40th anniversary version of the album. I listened to just the regular one because I feel like when I was looking at Left Eye's album, they kind of did the same thing where it's like, it's the album, right? But then there's like a bunch of demos and like extra stuff and stuff that I don't even know if it even came out, but they were like demos of stuff. And it might have been demos of the songs that were on the album. But yeah, I was like, yeah, that's a lot. It was like 34 songs. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with the original because it was like 2 hours long. And there's a bunch of demos, and I'm like, am I really gonna critique the demos? You know, they're not the official version anyway, so I didn't even bother with that one. But there's a 40th anniversary one. I might listen to it just to hear some of the demos, but you know, it is what it is. Then Beat It, like I was just talking about the video. I felt like this song is so energetic, it makes you want to break up a fight, lol, but still be jamming while you do it. And I feel like this will always make me turn up as well. And you know, it's kind of interesting because it's like, kind of thinking about Bad and like Beat It. And like Michael's like trying to be all tough and stuff like, don't mess me up, Bad, and you beat it. You don't want to deal with this. And it's just so funny to me. Because I feel like, not saying Michael couldn't hold his own. He might have. He might have had the hands. I don't know. But it's just like, I feel like he was more of like a gentle spirit. Although I have, as time has gone on, we definitely see some clips of him, you know, getting sassy and having an attitude and, basically being a human being, you know what I mean? Because we all have those things. We all, like, sometimes we have an attitude, sometimes we're mad, sometimes we're sad, all those things. But, yeah, I don't know. Michael, maybe he got into some fights. I don't know. But that's just my thing. And then my last favorite song was Pretty Young Thing, PYT, another classic. And I was yelling a chant back at the end where he's like, pretty young thing, repeat after me. Not really yelling because I'm not trying to wake up my house. But you know what I mean. I was singing to it. That's what I'm saying. I just love that part. Um, and it really makes it feel like so pretty and desirable, as if Michael wanted women to feel good when they heard the song, because you're like, yo, that's my pretty young thing, my PYT, look at her, nice. Once again, only one least favorite song, The Girl Is Mine, featuring Paul McCartney. For me, it was just that it was kind of a random pairing, but I did think that they were friends at some point. I didn't really look it up, but I feel like they had some kind of relationship. And then also, I know Michael bought the Beatles catalog, which I don't know if there was some tension with that, like if they were still friends at that point or not. And it seems funny to think they would fight over the same type of girl, but I could potentially see it, especially because I don't think Michael was ever with like any black woman. I never seen Paul McCartney with any black women, so they could have had the same type of white woman. But you know what? Love who you love. Be down with this world. Whatever you got going on. So my overall opinion on this album is I feel like this album had so many classic Michael songs. I even enjoyed the slower songs on here more, and I enjoyed more songs than I oh I have a typo. Then I put on my favorites list. So like I feel like it was like how long was the album? Like 10 songs, and like I was about to put like 10 or I want to say it was 10 or 9, but I was about to put most of the album on my favorites list basically. And I was like, let me just limit it to 4 like I did before. But yeah, I really liked it. I liked more of the album than I disliked, and even then, it wasn't like I hated any of the songs. The song with Paul McCartney was weird to me, but it wasn't bad at all. Um, I figured I would like this album the most, and I will say I still might. And I gave this album a 10 out of 10. Even though every song wasn't my favorite, I feel like it's such a classic, and I love most of it overall. So I feel like this is the same kind of thing I thought about with Beyonce's Renaissance. Like, I really love the album overall, even if everything wasn't my favorite, and I feel like it's a classic. So this is the same thing with Michael. So finally, we're going to talk about Bad. It was released August 31st, 1987. The genre is pop, rock, funk, R&B, dance, soul, and hard rock. Did I put the genre for... Well, the genre for Thriller was pop, post-disco, rock, funk, and R&B. Oh, I did say it. So it's kind of the same things, but now it has dance, soul, and hard rock. And I thought it was like rockin', versatile, and unique as the vibes, because this album was very unique. I will say, even though the title track wasn't one of my favorite tracks, I always remember the story of Prince, how he was going to be on the track, but Michael started the song saying "Your butt is mine," and Prince was not with it. And I always think that's so funny. I wonder if they've ever done a song together. Now I want to check, because I feel like that was their opportunity, but I don't know if it ever happened. Hmm. Okay, so it looks like they did not, because he was supposed to be on Bad, and he wanted it to be like a back and forth thing between them, like I guess like a gang or like a I'm a fight you kind of thing. And then Prince heard the first line and was not into it, which I remember that story. Um, which I feel like is just so funny, but it does make sense. Like, yeah, I get it. I get why Prince was like, yeah, that's a weird line. I don't want to say anything back to that line. You know what I mean? I get it. But here are my favorite songs from Bad. The Way You Make Me Feel, very upbeat and fun. Once again, I feel like this is a nice song for women. Makes you feel nice about yourself and feel appreciated, you know. And I feel like if somebody dedicated this to me, I would love them forever, lol. I feel like it's such a sweet, cute bop of a song. So yeah. And then Just Good Friends is a very different type of song. I like the secret, like lovers types. It's like a secret lovers type song. It's very boppy though, and it really draws you in. Like, why does this woman want her relationship with Michael to be public? Like, what's going on? Does she got another husband? Does she got a husband? Does she got another boyfriend? Like, why is she not trying to show off Michael? You know, it's really interesting. And it has Stevie Wonder on it, which he did great. I love Stevie Wonder as well. They sound great together. He's not named as a feature on Apple Music, but I could tell that it wasn't Michael's voice, and I was like, who is this? But he sounded good. And then I looked it up on Wikipedia, and I was like, that's why it sounds so good. But he's also credited. I guess he's credited because it's on Wikipedia. And I'm assuming he has writing credits. So that's cool. I like that collaboration. And then another song I liked was my favorite was Man in the Mirror. I feel like it's very motivational. It makes you think what you can do to make the world a better place. It's a timeless classic, you know. It makes you wonder what you could be doing that impacts others. So that's also a timeless message as well. So I like that one. And then, of course, another classic, Smooth Criminal. And also the video is very iconic as well. I want to say, he did the leaning thing in the video. I'm not sure if he did the moonwalk in the video. I know he did some cool dances in the video. And then, you know, had the little gangster vibes, the little mob vibes with the suits and stuff. And then I think, there were guns in the video. So, yeah, a lot going on. And I feel like he was really experimental with tracks on the album, including this one. Oh, and I said the song was like, you know, one of his more unique songs. I only have one least favorite song again. It was Liberian Girl. This one is just because it could be kind of fetishy. I think if you're Liberian, it would be an ethnicity, because he wasn't specific about like her features, so there's no like positive qualities described about her besides her ethnicity. I think that would make, like, if you're Liberian, it would be, if you're Liberian, it's your ethnicity and not your race. If that's not right, correct me in the comments. But I feel like that makes sense. But like, yeah, there are no other positive qualities that he talks about besides her ethnicity. So I feel like that's kind of weird. Like, what else is good about her? LOL. He's just like, oh yeah, you're my Liberian girl. You're from Liberia. That's it. So yeah. But my overall opinion on this album. So I love the rock and roll elements. See, I got another typo. I did this like in the middle of the night, y'all. I love the rock and roll elements were heavy in this album, and I really love that. This album was very unique and versatile, I will say. Even though I feel like I liked less songs on here, I felt like I didn't hate them either, like before. But this one is the most versatile of all of the albums, of the 3 albums, and I would give it an 8 out of 10 because of how much more unique it was. But I didn't feel like it was a classic like Thriller, because I was gonna give it a 9, but I was like, do I feel like it's up there with Thriller? It's almost up there with Thriller, but so it would go Thriller's at the top, Bad, and then Off the Wall for me anyway. But what you think is album? What do you think Michael Jackson's best album is? In the comments. You could pick between these 3. You could pick any one. I have one of his albums, the one with Butterfly on it, and I forgot the name of it. I feel like it's called Invincible, but I'm not 100%. But yeah, I've definitely heard other albums by him. And I decided to write a poem this time. I wrote an ode. It's called Ode to Michael. And it's inspired by the song Thriller. You were thrilling to witness, the baddest to ever do it. You moonwalked into our hearts. You snatched our attention with your shiny glove. You had us all starting something on the dance floor. We didn't want you to beat it. You were the smooth criminal that always stole the show. To me and many others, there'll never be another like you. And there really doesn't have to be, because some people are one of a kind. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And also, I really think, I was just talking about this with my friend's fiance about would be at Michael Jackson's level right now. And I also feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's like a thing with life. We're always comparing people. Who's the next Michael? Who's the next Beyonce? Who's the next Celine Dion? Who's the next this? Who's the next that? And sometimes people are just unique. Although we know that Michael Jackson had a great hard work ethic, Beyonce has a great hard work ethic. Celine Dion has a great voice, legendary. All of these people like are themselves. And sometimes we get into like comparisons too much. And I feel like, people could just be one of a kind and that's okay. So yeah. Have you all listened to these albums? If you have, let me know what you think about them. If you haven't, why haven't you? I haven't because I just didn't get around to it. But I've always wanted to listen to these albums, so now I have. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you want in the comments. And I will see you all next week.